So hello everyone, welcome. I'm Stephanie Jordan, Local Food Program Manager at Sustainable Solano. Welcome to our final Bounty of the County presentation. This has been a 6-week celebration of farms, food, and independent restaurants here in Solano County, as well as some local wineries. And each week we have featured a local farmer, an independent restaurant or food producer, and possibly a restaurant chef in that mix, and also a local winemaker to talk to us about what they grow, what they do with that food, and what wines go well with all of the bounty found here in Solano County. So as many of you know, Bounty of the County was originally intended to be a large in-person event at the Solano County Fairgrounds, one of our producing partners for this. And it was intended to showcase all of the food and wine. We are still hoping to do that in person someday, so stay tuned to our website, sustainablesolano.org, for further details as we move closer and into 2021. So the goal of the Bounty of the County is to raise awareness of what we call specialty crops. You're probably wondering, what on earth are those? So they are basically a lot of plant-based foods that we eat. Vegetables, fruit, tree nuts, legumes, culinary herbs are all those specialty crops that a lot of our local farmers grow here in the county. So the farms participating in Bounty of the County are primarily specialty crop farmers. And the Bounty of the County also supports our larger mission, which is to build a more robust local food system here in Solano County that is environmentally sustainable and economically viable and socially just. So that is our big pie in the sky goal, and we're happy to have you here joining us and supporting that as well. Finally, I want to mention that we are using Bounty of the County to raise funds for farmers who suffered loss and damage from wildfires that swept through around Vacaville in mid-August. There was a lot of loss and damage, but we have also seen just incredible response from the community, and so to help move that needle, 100% of any tax-deductible donation that Sustainable Solano has received since September 1st is going directly to those farmers, ranchers, and growers who were impacted by the fires. So we are obviously now into October, but we are continuing to accept donations through today, because today is a Bounty of the County event. Allison, I believe, has posted a link in the chat, so if you would like to donate, that is where to go. And I also want to mention that while our Bounty of the County presentations are wrapping up this week, many restaurants and wineries are still running their specials, and we'll hear more about one today. So there are some that are continuing through this weekend, others are continuing through the end of the month. So definitely check out our website for details on that. And again, there are several instances where proceeds from the sales of those products or wine packages go into the same fire relief fund that Sustainable Solano has. So that is also happening. Before I introduce our featured guests, just a couple of Zoom housekeeping items. Audience members, you have entered on mute, and we're going to keep you on mute, sorry, until the end, but you will be unmuted for the Q&A. There are two options if you have questions. One is to use the raise hand button, which is found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you raise your hand, then we will unmute you and you can speak directly to our guests. The other option is to hold on to your question, is to put your question in the chat box that's also at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and then we will just read your question to our featured guests at the end. All right, one other last thing is that speaker view is best when watching this presentation. That way you won't see 20 different little squares on your screen. You'll get to actually see the people talking. So you might want to do that. All right, this week we have farmer Ben Lyons of Lockewood Acres. Lockewood Acres is an organic farm near Vacaville. Our food producer this week is Virtue Juice. And I'd like to welcome manager Lyndsey Guerrero, who's here from Virtue Juice. And then our featured winemaker of the week is Gina Richmond from Mangels Vineyards. So thank you so much to all of you guys for joining us. We're going to start with the farm, as we usually do. It all starts on the farm. So Ben, we're going to have you unmute and tell us a little bit about Lockewood Acres. You've got kind of a cool setup there for a virtual tour. So take it away. Tell us about how Lockwood got started and about your products.
Well, very good. Welcome, everybody. This is kind of an odd situation, but as you can see, you are now at Lockewood Acres. It's a 10-acre certified organic farm. We do vegetables, fruits, animals, just about everything you could possibly think of to try and be as self-sustainable as possible. And that was my wife and I's original goal, was to be self-sustainable. And we really didn't start this to be a commercial venture, but it just grew and grew from what we started. But when we originally got started in the move, I was going to make my millions when we moved to Vacaville. We found this 1954 publication. I was going to make my millions selling earthworms because I like to fish. But in the center of that, and this was the inspiration for Lockewood Acres, was this thing called Security Acres, and it talks about, you know, biodiversity, regenerative, self-sustainability, all these buzzwords, but in a map, I don't know if you can see that, dated 1948. So Security Acres on this 1948 map was the inspiration for what I laid out for Lockewood Acres. And when I got here, there were only 5 trees on the property, and I took 5 dump trucks, 10-yard trucks of junk out of this place. So this house was here, this barn was here, that tree, this tree, that tree. There's 2 olive trees here, and that was it. So everything else you see there, we put in and is all done off Craigslist and garage sales. So if anybody tells you can't start a farm without a lot of money, it does take money, but you can do it on a shoestring budget too. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you around the farm, and everybody's going to be this sheep. And so I'm just going to move you around here. So this is how I do the tour. I just walk around the farm and I point out things that are going on. So it's a good reminder for me, and then hopefully the information is good. And then, you know, when things kind of settle down, then we can all come out and you can put a true tree to the picture here. So, all right, so let's get started. We've got, over here is the vineyard. These vines actually came off the Nut Tree Plaza, which was their demonstration garden there before they started putting in the buildings. So I got those for free. All the infrastructure that did all of this orchard was all got off Craigslist. But we have wine grapes, juice grapes, table grapes, blackberries, and then a high density row of olives on the edge here. So again, the whole idea was to be self-sustainable, not a great commercial model, but again, it was just for my wife and I, but it's expanded into what we like to call our family, and we would like to create and nurture, you know, 50 to 100 families within the Vacaville area, and then watch them grow as we grow too. So it's been kind of fun. And even this photo here is several years prior to now. So things have really grown recently. But so we will go to the orchard here. I planted things mid, early, and late of each variety: peaches, pears, nectarines, persimmons. What else do we have in there? Apples, all kinds of stuff in there. And then
citrus, Ben.
What's
you
that?
have some yummy citrus that you brought to a meeting. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, the citrus is all in there too. Those are usually done in January. I planted also a mid, early, and late to try and extend the season of each of those varieties. And I tried to pick taste test winners in each of those that filled that criteria. So the sheep are in this pin here, and I utilize them to mow in the orchard here and in the pomegranates, and eventually into the grapes here. But these you can see these plots out here. They're 50 by 100 foot plots, kind of designed on James Fortier's Market Gardener plan. He was a no-till, not a no-till, but no equipment based. But the thing that caught me about his book was the fact that he said he could make $100,000 on an acre and a quarter. So I had 10 acres, so I should be able to make a lot of money. Well, I haven't even touched 100,000 yet, but each year gets better and better. The volume increases, and we, you know, I didn't grow up to be a farmer. I became one out of necessity. So each year I become more and more confident. We grow more and more food, and therefore create and generate more cash flow. So that's how we've been going. So then we come along here. We have all the market. This is all the plots that we grew for the farmers market this year. Pumpkins are out here, and then now we're just planting the winter crops out here. And then I'll tear all this up, plant the cover crop, and then start all over come March, April, when I can get back in the ground. This year is going to be a flower plot. We actually have some wedding flowers out here for Haley's wedding, which is coming up in a month. So things are busy here at the farm. Let's see, what else we got I can show you. So we have the sheep. They mow the grass. We have goats. And we utilize the milk to make cheese and provide fresh milk for the farm. I can't sell it to you because according to the state of California, you'll die if you drink raw dairy products, but I haven't died yet. So next, my best recyclers are my pigs here. These are, well, I forgot to tell you what the breed of sheep are. These are St. Croix sheep. That's not him. The sheep here are St. Croix sheep, and they're on the slow food architaste. But again, they're used as mowers, and then we use the fertilizer to create compost, and then we spread the compost out in the field. The pigs take all our Mangalitsa hogs. They're on the slow food architaste also. It's a hog from Hungary, prized for its charcuterie value. It's a red meat pork with marbling in it, so it is super delicious. When you throw that thing on the grill, it looks like a red steak. And so they turn all of the seconds and different things that don't make it to market into bacon. So everybody has a purpose here, and it all gets recycled back into the farm. And that's another item about the farm, is that we have very, very little waste that leaves the farm. So that's been very nice. So we have a few other projects here. You can see one of these sea containers is going to be turned into a fodder system, and that way we can wean myself off of alfalfa, and then I'll be able to generate my own food for the animals, the pigs, the sheep, the goats, the humans, and then eventually we'll bring rabbits in so I can utilize that as also a protein source and cash flow. So then everything comes into the packing shed. Here's where we pack and sort, and then we store things in this sea container, which is a refrigerated unit done with a window air conditioner and a computer controller that tricks the air conditioner to keep the reefer, or that 40 by 8 foot sea container at, right now it's at 48 degrees. So that helps extend the life of the vegetables, especially during the time that it's, 110, 115 degrees outside. So one of the products that really does like the heat is this thing called Malabar Spinach, which actually grows in the hoop house over here throughout the summer. So this is a great, unique plant. It's not really spinach. It's a Southeast Asian plant that tastes like spinach, but it's very nutrient dense. Almost, you can eat it raw. You can cook with it. It adds texture and body to if you're juicing anything. So it's a great plant. And of course we have the chickens, and they're all free range, and they just wander the property, and we keep the chickens for eggs and to add to the compost. So now we get to the vegetables, which comes to cooking. And when you're cooking, or at least when I'm cooking, I like wine. So I had to do some market research and went to the winery that we're partnering with here. And these are two that I found to be very, very nice. I like wine, so I just drink them. So wine goes with everything. So there's their plug for our winery. So currently, this is everything that's actually out of a CSA box. Let me go up here and take a shot of that. So we have Armenian cucumber, Marketmore cucumbers. We have Costa Romanesco zucchini, a yellow zucchini. Winter squash is starting to come in. That's a delicata. Pomegranates, I have two varieties right now. One is a Parfinica and an Eversweet. Parfinica is the one they're using in the juice with Virtue. It's a really nice sweet tart, and the arils in it are soft, so you could actually chew them. We have orange bell pepper, some patty pans, some white Flanders figs, and an assortment of peppers. There's Italian red roasters. There's some New Mexican red chilies. We have Shishitos peppers, garlic, and the tail end of the tomatoes for the season. And then everything that comes back, we try and make a value-added product out of what does not sell. So we manufacture things based on those products, and so we have lots of jams. We have olive oil, two different varieties. We have Arbequina, which is the high density row, and then a couple original trees that were here. We do our own white wine vinegar, which were barrels from an old winery that actually got the mother from Italy. So it's really quite tasty. And then we feed it with juice from the farm. The pomegranate shrub is actually 2 parts pomegranate juice, 1 part apple cider vinegar mixed with pure cane sugar. And this you can use as a tincture for the antioxidants of the pomegranate juice itself, or the microbial benefits of the apple cider vinegar. I like it with vodka over ice, so you can take your medicine and feel good too at the same time. So it's a dual purpose product here. This here, the pomegranate shrub jelly, is actually a mistake that turned out really good. So that was pomegranate juice that fermented, and then we made a jelly out of it, and it almost tastes like a pomegranate wine. So I reduce that with whatever I'm drinking, wine or beer or whatever, and then thin it out and then pour it over the meat that I'm roasting, and then it just creates a glaze over the top, and it's really, really nice. Elderberries, we're actually doing a project with University of Davis on the commercial viability of elderberries, but elderberries are very popular at the moment because of the antiviral properties of elderberries. Meyer lemon, that's some of the citrus that Stephanie was talking about. And then we take items here, the sriracha sea salt. We make sriracha sauce out of the peppers, and then mix it with, I think she now is getting Monterey sea salt. But, and then we take the garlic scapes, which are the flowers from the garlic, cut those off, freeze dry them, and then mix it with the sea salt. And then the coup de grace is really the roasted garlic sea salt, which is just a really nice product. And then we do roasted heirloom tomatoes that are left over, roast them in the oven, and then mix it with the sea salt. And then this has been very popular this year also is the elderberry spice syrup, which is a holistic tincture which works as an antiviral. And the combination of the elderberry and the herbs seems to, through documentation with the doctor out of Israel, says it'll cut the half-life of a virus in half. So I think I've kind of pretty much touched base of everything here. How am I looking on time?
You're good. I think we're gonna, I want to thank you for kind of explaining the role that the animals play on the farm, because I think a lot of people, don't quite understand how it all does tie into an ecosystem, and everything has their own role and their own purpose for really helping, you know, all the other components on that are on the farm. So thanks for that, Ben. Yeah, we're going to move on. I think in the interest of time, we're going to jump over to Virtue Juice. So the featured product that Virtue Juice is using were the Parfinica pomegranates that you mentioned. And yeah, you said that the arils are tender. And I just want to comment, Ben, that I think you're one of the few farms that I know of that you're sort of straddling these seasons really well. Like you've still got some summer products like cucumbers, and then you've got pomegranates. So I don't know, I just find that really fascinating. I don't know if that's a Lockwood thing or a Vacaville thing or what, but you know, kudos to making that all work. So.
Well, diversity is the key there, but diversity takes a lot of time and effort. So that's why a lot of people don't do it.
Right, that is true. Okay, let's move to Lyndsey at Virtue Juice. Welcome, Lyndsey, and tell us what you're doing with all those pomegranates.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Lyndsey Guerrero, and I am the general manager here at Virtue Juice Bar. We're located in the Nuttery Plaza. We're right in between Comcast, Xfinity, and Cream. We're also by Noah's Bagels as well. We're at 1670 East Monte Vista, number 102. We're open every day right now from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for takeout, curbside pickup. We are also now able to do some dine-in, which is great. So we're at 25% capacity. So you can come on in, you can sit down, you can eat with your family and enjoy all the things that we have to offer. And so on our menu, we have a full espresso bar. We have acai bowls, which you get to build your own. You can choose toppings, and we have all sorts of toppings that you can choose from. Smoothies, those are super popular. We have some toast options. And then the main thing that we're known for is our organic cold pressed juice. So we pride ourselves on using all organic produce for our juices, and you'll get to see the equipment in action very shortly. But we do cold press juicing on demand, made to order. So we're actually the first juice bar in the country to do this model. A lot of the times you go to a juice bar and you're either grabbing bottles from the shelf, somewhere like Press Juicery, we're able to do it here on demand, made to order. So if you don't want ginger, or if you want to add kale to a certain juice, you can do that. And it's a really great model to be able to showcase here in this town. So a little backstory on how we got started. We opened back in April of last year, after months and months of dreaming and strategizing and planning and really wanting to bring kind of a fast casual restaurant, but also a health resource center to the city of Vacaville. Just noticing the lack in places that offer healthy, organic, sustainable options where people can come if you have an allergy, if you're vegan, if you're gluten-free, you're able to come, and there's kind of a little something for everybody, which is amazing. This store that I'm sitting in right now, it was a blank slate. It was a concrete slab that got built out into now a fully operating restaurant. Like I said, we're family owned, so it's pretty fun being around here in a bunch of chains in the nuttery, but really fun. People love that we're a family owned business, but we also hold ourselves high up to a standard of excellence, and really wanting to take it in a corporate model. Basically, we don't want this to be the only location. We want to be able to spread our reach wide into the Bay Area, up into Sacramento, and just be able to offer really great products to everybody, and also be able to educate the public on healthy options that they can have, like turmeric and ginger and just things that are amazing for your body. So yeah, we started about a year and a half ago, and it's been amazing to just see the community support. And we've really created a Virtue family here, a culture of people who love what we're doing. And I just want to highlight the community too. During the height of the pandemic, obviously we're still in it, but just when the whole shelter in place was fully shut down, it was amazing to see the community rally around us. We did huge drops of juices and wellness shots to Kaiser. I think we hit every police department in Solano County, as well as fire department and CHP, the prisons, just bringing them healthy juices and wellness shots to be able to sustain them, especially with our first responders who have been just fighting not only a pandemic, but all of these fires, which is so cool to be able to partner with Sustainable Solano on this. So that's a little bit of a backstory behind us. Something I wanted to highlight before we start actually showing people how to make the juices is just the difference between cold press juicing versus the regular juicing, like centrifugal juicing. Some key highlights when you're using a centrifugal juicer, say at a juice bar, if you have one at home, they're great, but they heat up the ingredients. So you lose a lot of the nutritional value. And if you've ever noticed, if you've gotten a juice from a centrifugal juicer, it's pretty foamy. There's a lot of foam on that top. Sometimes you'll get pulp inside as well. The difference with the machines that we use is that it shreds the ingredients and it drops them into a hopper, and then it presses it together. So it keeps it cold, and you keep all of the nutritional value in that produce and that fruit, the veggies, still in your juice. And it comes out silky smooth. I mean, you could drink it. It's like water, honestly. And except for maybe the tropical breeze. There's a little bit of foam, but it kind of adds to the vibe of the tropical breeze. But it's really interesting to be able to educate people on the benefits of cold press juicing. And this company that we use, they're called Good Nature. They're based out of New York. Really great people. They're pioneers of cold press juicing. They are trying to also make it affordable for people to get cold press juicers at home, which is amazing. And they're just doing really great things for the juicing community. They have a Juice Makers Association now where they're really trying to help people kind of get on board with this whole idea of cold press juicing. But there's nothing like going to a place and having someone make it for you, because juicing can be messy. It can be time consuming. There's a lot of produce that goes into it. So you can always come to us and we'll help you out. And something that we also pride ourselves on is we do organic juice cleanses. So you can pick 1 to 4 days. And if you pick our standard cleanse, for example, every day comes with 4 juices, an almond milk that's made here in-house, an infused water, and a wellness shot. And so depending on how many days you want to do, some people go all 4 days, and that's all you're doing. You're just drinking the juice, the milk, the water every 2 to 3 hours. And people have been seeing amazing results, just their blood pressure being lowered, they're losing weight, they just feel good, like they have more energy, and they're just able to detox their gut and really fuel themselves with great products. You fuel your body and your body thanks you for it. So if you want cleanses, we have them. They're amazing. 1 to 4 days, like I said, and you can just call ahead and order those from us. So that's a little backstory on cold press juicing versus centrifugal. And then I'll also show you what those juicers look like. We have 2 in the front that are the X1 minis, and then we also have a bigger one in the back called the X1 that does double the production of the ones in the front. So the big X1 in the back is the one that we use to bottle every single day in our grab and go case, which I'll show you as well, where if you aren't so concerned about the made to order, you're in a rush, you can just go to the grab and go case, pick out your favorite juice, and you can be on your way. So that's a little bit of a backstory on us, the cold press juicing. Another fun fact is that there's about 2 to 2.5 pounds that go into every juice of produce. So it's really hard to eat all of that in one sitting. So with our juices, you can get that into your body, and it's pretty fascinating. People love to stand at our sneeze guard and watch the juicing in action. So it's great to be able to get all of that into your body for nutrition and to boost your immunity system and all great things. So that's a little bit of a backstory on who we are and cold press juicing versus centrifugal juicing, and just a little bit of the things that we offer here. Awesome. So I think we should, oh, someone just commented that they love our Grab and Globe gluten-free bread. We also do serve all gluten-free bread, and we serve Bread Seriously. They're a company out of Berkeley. We use their classic sourdough. Best gluten-free bread I've ever had. So we use that for our toast, and then we also sell their retail loaves. So you can come in and get their classic sourdough or their sweet onion sourdough as well. And you can take it home and have it with toast, avocado toast, make little sandwiches out of them. They're great. So, but yeah, I think now it's time to show the people these juicers and be able to show what we do here. And feel free to pipe in if you need to as well. So I will show you here. Someone said that they've been driving from to Berkeley for that bread. Well, now they can come here, which is great. So let me flip this around here. I'll show you, this is our grab and go case. Like I said, this is what we bottle every single day. So if you're in a hurry or if you want to come get a pack, we do a discount for 4-pack and 6-pack of juices. We also have the almond milks, and we have the cold brew that we make here in-house. The wellness shots, like I was saying, the Gotcha Covered is probably our most popular. That has apple, ginger, lemon, turmeric, and cayenne. It's a little spicy, but it's really good for you. Gingerade and the turmeric twist. And then here's that bread that I was telling you about from Bread Seriously. Great company, small company that makes amazing gluten-free bread. And then we have started to do salads. We only have one left for the day, so they've been super popular. But this is our heritage salad. It's made with a vegan Caesar dressing. We make everything here in-house. There's pumpkin seeds, cherry tomatoes, carrots, onions, spring mix, cucumbers, you name it. I've been having it for lunch and I have been enjoying it probably a couple times a week. So it is a great thing. If you want to be able to grab stuff and go, we have that in our case. So now I'm going to turn my camera over to my trusty cameraman. Here's the store, so you can take a look at it. We just shut down for the day, but you guys get a little inside look on what we do here. So this is the Good Nature X1 Mini. This is our cold press juicer. Kind of looks like a spaceship in a way. I always loved the design and just how it looks, but it looks more intimidating than it actually is. It's pretty easy, simple to use. And then there's a couple different settings. I'll show you the single setting today, where you can actually determine how long you want the press to happen. So there's the single, which we'll use today. It takes about 1.5 minutes to juice. And then we also have a batch setting that we'll use for the wellness shots or for making a couple juice bottles out here. It basically just presses the produce for a longer period of time. And the press is basically, it's slower. And with the single, it presses it a little bit faster. But this is the X1 Mini. We have 2 of them. So when we have multiple juices on the bar, we're able to get them out. And like I said, it's amazing to be able to substitute, add, or subtract, which people have been really enjoying that model because they can't get that anywhere else, which is great. So the juice that we came up with, partnering with Ben from Lockewood Acres, we're using his pomegranates, which are amazing. We wanted to do a signature juice because that's what we're known for. So we came up with the Lockewood Immunity Tonic. And so what I'm going to show you today is a juice that's made with pomegranate, cucumber, apple, orange, and ginger. So all of that good stuff to boost your immunity system, especially as we go into fall and winter. And we also are in the middle of a pandemic. So if you want to boost your immune system, this is a great juice to have. So let's get to it. So I already have a press bag in here. These are compostable press bags that we use. They're super lightweight. They're great. This will hold all of the pulp that we're going to shred from the hopper into the press. And then we also use the compostable every single day. So we throw that out in the compostables bin. So I'm going to take a strainer because we want to strain out any pulp that might come through the hopper, and then a pitcher here. And then I'm going to grab some gloves. Rule Food Service 101. If you're ever handling food, you got to have gloves on. Grab some of these here. All right, so the Lockewood Immunity Tonic is actually pretty unique because it's done in a couple different steps. So we found as we were testing out this recipe that we actually cut up the pomegranate and the cucumber first, and we put that just directly into the press bag. So it doesn't need to be shredded. Shredding pomegranates would be a little hard just with all of the different little seeds. So we cut it up into little pieces and we'll put it in the press bag. So that'll just press, and then I'll pop this, the shred down, and then I'll shred the apple, the orange, and the ginger. So let's get to it. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you guys this. This is our prep area. So every single day we have all of the produce up here that we use for the juices, which is great. We're able to just grab and go if we're making a tropical breeze. All of our employees pretty much have the juices memorized. So I know if someone orders a tropical breeze, I'm grabbing 5 pieces of kale, 2 pieces of lime, a cucumber, an apple, and pineapple. And we're trying to yield to about 16 ounces. And then every single day, it's kind of the Chipotle style model. We have backups of produce. So the carrots, the kale, the cucumber, and the celery, we use pretty frequently. So we're always making sure that we have those fully stocked as we continue to make juices. All right, so I already have the Lockewood Immunity Tonic. I have all the ingredients that I need right here. So like I said, we're gonna break it up into a couple different steps. So I've got the pomegranate and I've got my cucumber. I'm gonna cut these into small little pieces at first. So the pomegranate, I'll cut into about 6 pieces. I actually learned this technique. I didn't know. You know how you're always cutting something and you're worried about your fingers? you make a little tunnel and you cut through the tunnel. That changed my life. I will never cut the same. I feel like I've learned more about cooking working here than I have ever. But look at that juicy pomegranate right here, thanks to Farmer Ben. So I'm actually gonna cut it into a couple different pieces here, just to make it easier for that juice in the seeds to be able to get out in the press bag. Cut this here, okay. Then I'm going to cut the cucumber up as well so that we're able to just get all of that juice in here. The things that juice really well are cucumbers, celery, pineapple, apples, oranges. So cold press juicing is actually kind of a science because you have to learn how much produce you actually need for a juice. And here we're always trying to minimize waste. So we want to get to 16 ounces and try not to go over. And organic produce is so all over the place sometimes. I mean, even if you just look at these apples here, we've got one organic apple and another organic apple, and these came in the same batch. So it's actually kind of fun to be able to kind of judge with your produce how much you actually need. And not to pat myself on the back, but I've gotten pretty good at it, just being able to eyeball it and know exactly how much I need. Okay, so we have our cut up produce here. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it just directly into the hopper. Press bag right here. And then we're gonna take the cucumber here and just drop it directly in here. Just like that. Okay, second step, I'm gonna shred the rest of the produce here. Pop this down. And then I'll hit the shred button. You can hear it start to go. It's pretty cool. There's that blade in there. Super sharp. Awesome. So I have that all set up. So now I'm going to take the rest of my produce here. So you can see we have a couple apples, a couple oranges, and a little thumb of ginger. We don't want it to be too spicy, but we want it to cut through just nicely so that you get the benefits of that ginger. And with these two, with juicing, I'll put the ginger in first, and then I'll put the apples in the oranges, just so then the juicier fruits will shred up that ginger really nicely. All right, then I'm going to hit the shred button here, hold down on this top, and press it through. And this produce, you don't have to push very hard. You can see all that pulp going into the hopper here. Wearing my handy dandy apron because sometimes the pulp will like to get onto you. Awesome. And we'll make sure that all of the pulp gets down there into the hopper. So like I said, it's about 2 to 2.5 pounds of produce. We'll show you that pulp in here. So this is what's going to get pressed. And you can see it's already, just with how juicy the produce is, it's already starting to drip down into our pitcher. I'll even go in here and get as much of the excess pulp as I can. Drop it in here. All right. Now the fun part, we're gonna hit this single, and it's gonna be about 1.5 minutes, and we'll be able to watch the juice together. So you'll see back here, there's a little metal lever that pushes this black piece together, and that's pressing the pulp together. It'll kind of stop, and then it will start to kind of shimmy down until we get a nice press. There's that juice right there. Which the pomegranates have been really great. It's really fun to be able to do a signature juice. We haven't done that yet. So being able to take this opportunity to work with the produce that we haven't, or a fruit that we haven't worked with yet, and be able to partner with Ben, and just for a good cause, it's been great. And this has been selling really well. People really enjoy the flavor. It's kind of tart, a little sweet with the apple, and then that hint of ginger just gives it a nice little spice.
Lyndsey,
and then what we've been, yeah.
While we're waiting for the juice to do its thing, can you tell us how long the Lockewood Immunity Tonic will be on the menu?
Yeah, I mean, it's been selling really well. So I would say definitely through the end of October, we'll have it. It's been a great, great juice. People are really enjoying it. And I think because of those immunity benefits, people are really wanting to boost their immune system. So we will have it most likely through the end of the month.
Okay, sounds good. And you've got about 3 minutes left. Just
Perfect.
Time
No,
check.
awesome. That's great. Okay, so it just finished that 1.5 minute press. So it's perfect. What we've been doing with this one is, let me take a chilled glass. Now, if we were eating in here, which we're not just yet, but we're still doing all to-go cups. But when we do get to do for here, if you choose for here, you get it in a nice chilled glass, which I love my juice cold. It's amazing. So what we've been doing with this one is I'll strain it through here just so that if there's any excess pulp, just keeps it as silky smooth as possible. So I'll fill it up to about there. And then what we've been doing with this one is just topping it off with some ice, just so that it gives that nice chilled taste, which we're in October. It's still hot. I'm waiting for fall. But people have been really enjoying it on a hot day. Even today was great. Fill it up with some ice here. And voila, here is the Lockewood Immunity Tonic. I wish you guys could taste it. It's amazing. Which you can. So you can come in from now through the end of the month and you can order this. We also have some other fall specials going on. We've got a pumpkin pie smoothie, a harvest bowl. We have our version of the pumpkin spice latte. So come on in, try it out. You'll see me here. You can talk to me about anything, any questions you may have. But come on in and get the Lockewood Immunity Tonic.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lyndsey. That looks really refreshing and delicious. I can use some right now. I'm in a little room with no air conditioning. So, okay. All right. Let's head over to our winery of the week, Mangels Vineyards. Welcome, Gina, Richmond. I think you're unmuted now. There you are. Yep.
Yes.
Allison just posted a link to Mangels in the chat if you want to check them out. So Gina, if you could just take a minute to tell us just a brief background about Mangels. I know it's been around for a really long time. Give us a little history and then tell us about what you do as the winemaker over there.
Yes, well, Mangels Vineyards is basically two families that have been in Suisun Valley for quite a long time. Gary's Mangels family came to Suisun Valley in about the mid-1800s and started farming right away, and eventually did grow grapes and started a winery called Solano Winery that became one of the largest wineries in the state of California and survived Prohibition and lasted a little bit longer past Prohibition. And then they continued to farm different things after they closed the winery, like cattle and sheep and vineyards still. Gary and I got together in about 2005 and started making home wine. My family came from Italy here to Suisun Valley in 1890 and settled where the tasting room is today. And then my father and grandparents started the Suisun Valley Nursery, which is where the tasting room is now. So both families have been in farming for quite a long time in Suisun Valley.
Definitely. Thanks for that. You know, you're one of few women winemakers around in the area. Have you found it kind of hard to break into that whole industry and, I don't know, deal with it?
No, I've had a lot of great mentors. I went to Fresno State and graduated from the enology program there. And there was only 2 of us women graduating at the time out of about 50 students. So yes, women have been, I would say, a little rare in the industry, but I have great mentors, male and female. And I think people just appreciate if you have a good palate and if you really do enjoy your job and you enjoy making wine and just want to experiment and make better wine every year. So it's been very enjoyable to be in this industry.
Great. Tell us about the different wines that you guys produce, and then also you can kind of follow that up with the Cora care package that you're featuring.
Sure. We do make quite a few different varieties. We do, the great thing about Suisun Valley is we can experiment with different varieties here, unlike Napa Valley where you're sort of required to do the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Chardonnay, the Merlot. We've experimented with Italian varieties like Pinot Grigio, Spanish varieties like Tempranillo, Portuguese varieties like Graciano, which is also Spanish. They sort of blend, you know, over the different countries. And then we also get to do the Petit Syrah, which is great in Suisun Valley. It is really probably the crown jewel variety for the area. It works really well here. For the Cora Care package, this is actually our homage to the sheep that we have in our vineyards. So they are the mowers of our vineyards, just like Ben said for his property. And it means then we have to till less, run the tractor less. They also then fertilize the vineyard. They also kind of keep down the suckers on the trunks of the vineyard, of the vines. So they really do a great benefit out there. And they're usually right behind us in the tasting room in the winter and spring. So when you come out, you get to see the babies running around. And so it's just a really nice sight as well. And so we do three blends, I should say, a white blend, a rosé blend, and a red. For the red, it's actually a co-ferment. And what that means is we pick all 3 grape varieties on the same day at the same time and ferment them all together. And what this allows the wine to do is it has even more time to ferment together, marry together. There's usually pros and cons for each variety, but because they're together, all the cons go away and the pros are sort of uplifted. And so that's the really fun part of doing the Cora.
And where does the name come from? I remember you mentioned the Cora.
Oh, yes. It's a Gaelic for sheep, or actually the U, the EWE, the female sheep. And so that's why we put it on our label to say, thanks to Daisy was our very first female sheep. So we call it the Daisy's Blend. So
That's cute. And so I know you guys have a tasting room, and you're actually in a part of the tasting room which is outdoors, which is fantastic. So indoor and outdoor options. So
yes,
no excuses, people. Go check out the outdoor tasting room.
We are super grateful because this was a nursery. Actually, where I'm at was where all the planting material was. And so when the pandemic happened and we had to be outdoors, we already had the space. We had the table set up. So we were very lucky that we could really kind of roll with all the different rules. And it's a very beautiful setting, very tranquil and peaceful. And people just enjoy coming out and drinking wine. Come out and see us. We're getting into the beautiful weather time. So enjoy a glass with us.
Good. So in addition to the Cora wines, sorry, I'm echoing a little bit. What else do you guys have on your wine menu?
Well, I did want to highlight also our Pinot Grigio, if you can see that. Since we're going into fall, this is a great wine with, like, I picture, and I've had it before with like a spinach salad, pomegranates, pistachios, and goat cheese. It's a real light, crisp Pinot Grigio, and you get even a lot of green apple aromas from it and the nice crispness. I also wanted, because we are going into the cooler temperatures, our Reserve Petite Syrah, and it's big, bold, French oak on the nose, and it's great with, the roasts and the steaks and kind of those bigger meats. Even like a bolognese pasta sauce is great with it.
Awesome. What do you recommend pairing with, like, some of the fall vegetables that are coming up, and some of the, like, warmer spices, like, the ginger that Lyndsey was talking about might show up a lot more. This might be a tricky one, I don't know, cloves and cinnamon and things like that may show up in, like, a butternut squash soup. I'm just kind of curious if you have any input on what would be best to pair with that sort of profile.
We have a great Viognier that's very aromatic and tropical, and also has some lilac notes to it, which is very good with butternut squash and some of those spices. Also, our Tempranillo, it's actually quite spicy on its own with a lot of turmeric and clove in the aromatics. So it pairs real nicely with those sorts of aromatics as well. It's also on the softer side, so it's really easy to pair with lots of different foods. So you can kind of go with even a lighter food like a chicken, but you could also do it with something heavier like beef. Our Cora Red Blend also has really nice mocha notes, which is really good with kind of like the roasted meats and kind of roasted vegetables you're going to start doing in the fall.
Right. Right. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. In the interest of time, I think we will move over to our audience and see if we have any questions. Let me just do, oh, before we do that, there is a survey that I'm going to mention right now too. This really helps us out with our reporting, and even if you've been on these talks before, it is super helpful if you could fill it out again if you're a repeat customer here. We have to do a report beginning of November, so it's really short, about 5 questions, so just a little mention for that. All right, let me go over here to, okay, I know that I saw a question earlier when Ben was talking, and it was about the Malabar spinach. And I think, is that right, Ben? Is that what it's called, Malabar spinach? Ben, are you there? Oh, and you know what? I don't hear Ben. Maybe he stepped away.
It appears that his phone lost audio.
Oh, okay. It's
yeah.
fine. He's got, today is his CSA pickup and drop off day, so he might actually be out working with some people. But actually I'm seeing from Carla, there's red Malabar spinach and green Malabar spinach. As Ben tells it, and I can attest, I grow the red, the green Malabar spinach grows its leaves closer together and you get more leaves in a smaller amount of space. Awesome. Okay, let's see here. Messages, I'm looking here. Lots of compliments. Let's see here. There's lots of comments here. I'm trying to sort through. Okay. Okay, Lyndsey, there was a question about the gluten-free bread. Will you be adding any heritage wheat sourdough to your offerings?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if, I don't think Bread seriously makes a heritage wheat. I know that they make the classic sourdough, they make a sweet onion, they make a seeded sourdough. And then I think the sweet onion though is getting discontinued, unfortunately, but they're replacing it with a cinnamon raisin come November 1st. So that one would be really good with some honey, maybe some almond butter or something on there. But I'll have to look into heritage wheat and see if we could find a good source for a gluten-free sourdough that would be heritage wheat. As long as it is gluten-free, that would be the main thing, just because we are a gluten-free facility here. So all the bread that we use is completely gluten-free, but I will look into that and see if I could find a good brand. So far, Bread Seriously, we tested so many different gluten-free breads before we launched, and Bread Seriously was worlds above everybody else. It doesn't fall apart. You know, sometimes the gluten-free bread is just flaky and it falls apart. What's cool about the Bread Seriously bread is that if you come and buy one of our retail loaves that we sell here in the store, if you have some of the loaf left before, like by the date that it says on the back, you can slice up the rest of the loaf that you have, put it in the freezer, and then you can toast it just straight from there. So it just elongates the shelf life of your bread. I get a loaf of bread probably every week. It's super good. So, but I'll look into the heritage wheat and see if I can find a good one.
Cool. Thanks, Lyndsey. All right, Ben has now been unmuted. You're back with us here, Ben.
I can talk.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, people were asking about the Malabar spinach. One person commented that like one variety is planted and they grow really close together, and another variety kind of climbs. There's a climber. You know, I'm kind of curious, what is it? Does it taste like spinach, or does it taste like kind of a mix of a couple different greens?
It has a very green flavor to it, especially raw, but when you cook it, it does taste like spinach. So, I mean, it just depends on what I'm in the mood for. If I, you know, want something different, and or during the summer, you know, we just kept it in the ice box, chopped it up, and just ate it straight with, you know, lemon and balsamic vinaigrette. But
right.
You can cut it up and saute it just like you would any vegetable. And you can even take the stems, dice that up, throw it in there with the onions, let that soften. And then once you're ready for the leaves, basically just wilt it. And then it's ready to eat. And it does taste a little bit like
spinach.
Yeah. Ben, really quick, if you could just talk briefly about your CSA and also where else people can find you and your products.
Okay. The CSA is basically a prepaid subscription for whatever we grow here on the farm. It typically runs from May through October, so we're actually coming down to the end of it. All the CSA members, we have a harvest dinner at the end of the season, and we invite everybody over to have a true farm-to-table dinner where everything at the table is from this farm. So it's kind of fun, and it's, you know, nothing fancy. It's just Denise and I cooking, and you just get good food, good times, and we get just people to participate and find out what people missed or what they liked or what they didn't like from the season. So, you know, if you have some weird vegetable you have to have, then we'll put it into the mix for next season. But
yeah,
it's been a lot of fun, and I think this year will be nice too. So
yeah,
and
then
hopefully
you're at the farmers market in Vacaville, correct?
yes, we do the farmers market. That'll be going through the 24th. 17th is the harvest dinner here, so we may or may not make the market there. And then the 24th, I may be at another function. So we were supposed to end on the, whatever it was, the 17th, but they bumped it because we got cut short at the beginning of the month. But the CSA program is a seasonal product right now, because during the winter there's not that diversity. I mean, you saw lots of different types of vegetables that we have for our CSA members, and you just don't get that. People get sick of kale, 6 weeks, all winter long, but
Right.
You can only cook it so many ways. But so I don't do a winter one, but we'll have kale and those types of things throughout the winter, just for personal use and for people that need to have it. And
so Christina Strunk, one of our audience members out there, is saying that Sweet Peas Market says they're going to extend the market, and Ben, come with more greens.
It's possible. We'll see what happens.
All right, see what happens. Excellent. All right, so you're kind of winding down, but last chance, everybody. Go try to find Ben at the Vacaville Farmers Market if there's any left. We'll check the schedule. But meanwhile, you can all stop by Mangels
the next 2 weekends.
Next 2 weekends. Okay, great.
Sure.
Yeah. And definitely check out the juices at Virtue Juice, Lockewood Immunity Tonic, and on your way there, on your way back, whichever direction you're traveling, please stop by Mangels Vineyards for some wine. Gina, if you could just tell us quick when you guys are open. When is the tasting room open? When can people stop in to get goodies?
We're open Friday through Sunday, noon to 5, all 3 of those days.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I think we are out of time. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Really good.
What was that, Ben?
I said that Reserve Petite Syrah is really, really good.
Yeah,
Use it while you cook.
I bought a Cora 3-pack and we cracked open at least 2 of the 3 bottles, and my husband wants more, so we're coming back for more. So good news all around for that wine. So go check it out.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ben, Gina, and Lyndsey, for your time and all your efforts on this Bounty of the County adventure. And thanks again to all the audience members. Again, check out the survey if you haven't already, and keep your eye on our website for more details going forward, sustainablesolano.org. I think that's it. So thanks very much, everybody.
Good job, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.